Welcome to Tom Papa's Come to Papa.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Come to Papa, your favorite podcast among all forms of entertainment. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying your Tuesday. I hope you're enjoying the right smack middle of summertime. I've been hearing from a lot of you, and a lot of you have been giving me your updates, filling up the kiddie pool, staying home, canceling everything that you have to do, and I'm proud of you. I will be heading off to the Hamptons myself next week. On July 30th, I'll be performing at Guild Hall, a beautiful theater in East Hampton. If you haven't been to the Hamptons, now you have a reason. Now, more than the sun, more than the beach, more than lobster rolls and barbecues and good friends, you now have a legitimate reason to head to the Hamptons. That's July 30th at Guild Hall. Today I'm going to bring you an interview with the great Dana Carvey that I just recorded. I think you will enjoy it. He's an amazing, amazing man. And as you sit and talk with him, as I did, you start to realize how many times this man, this one person, has made you laugh over the years. It's an incredible, incredible thing. And I was very lucky to sit down with him. And I will play that interview for you. Toot sweet. You will enjoy, I'm sure. Make sure you go to iTunes. A lot of you have been, and I thank you for it. Go to iTunes. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast so it can come up on your phone or your laptop or wherever you receive radio waves from the universe. And more importantly, leave a little review and some stars so other people will be, the people at Apple will be thinking, oh, that's right, this is a nice little podcast and people enjoy this thing, and then they'll spread it around a little bit more, and we'll be able to have more people come into our universe. It's, I know it's a little risky. Don't think that I'm going to like them more than I like you. I like you best, the original core of the podcast. These new people come in, we'll welcome them, but with a wary eye. We will analyze them and see if they're worthy of being part of the Come to Papa community. But yeah, make sure you go to iTunes, leave a review, leave some stars, and all will be good. I am heading off today to Lake Tahoe, where I will be performing a private event for a lot of sports stars. I did the event last year. It's for a company called American Century. It was so much fun. I got to hang out with David Wells and Chris Collinsworth and a bunch of really cool people. I'm hoping that goes all well today. Next week, next Tuesday, I will be coming on my way to the Hamptons. I will be coming through New York City to the Village Underground, where I will perform the live Come to Papa at the Village Underground at 8 o'clock next Tuesday. That's the 26th, where we can come and you can see me with Bob DeBono, Dan Soder, Rory Albanese, Dan Natterman, Marina Franklin. It's going to be a great show, as all the live shows are. But now I bring you an interview, my conversation with the great Dana Carvey. Hello, everybody.
Day
Welcome
45.
to another edition of Come to Papa, your favorite radio show among all the radio shows on this radio show channel. I'm very excited. Very excited. Not because it's summer. Not because I'm heading out to the Hamptons on July 30th to perform at Guild Hall.
A few tickets still available.
A couple still available. But I'm very excited for my guest today, the great Dana Carvey. Hello, Dana.
Thank you.
So excited to have you here.
It's fun for me because, there's just, it is a fraternity. In the end of the day, like if I say to you, I did a one-nighter in St. Louis.
Right.
And I didn't, you kind of know what happened, and not many people know because they just think, hey, but the Headspace, like my wife can come with me now, and she's punched out and on vacation.
Right.
So she's going all around St. Louis and museums. I'm just sort of take a nap. I look at my notes.
Right.
I'm shoring up energy. So you understand that it's different than traveling for fun.
Do you find it stressful when she comes with you? Because you're in the work mode and she's like, well, what about dinner?
Well, there is a little bit of that. There's been times when she'll drag me out of the hotel and we'll go out to lunch and stuff and it'll be fine.
Right.
But yeah, but she's pretty independent.
That's good.
But there is a little bit of that, yeah,
because
I know what you mean.
I have the same thing. My wife gets it. She was a comedian before we had children, and she gets it. But she doesn't really get that when you're in St. Louis and you've got a show that night, anything you do to use any amount of energy is just going to make the show a little worse.
Yes.
I mean, as much as like just, let's go for a walk down by the waterfront.
No. And when they want a sound check,
Right.
And that's one time this was in St. Louis, actually. They said, well, you come down the sound check at 3:30 and just talk into the mic for a second.
Right.
And go back to your room. And I go, that's just going to take energy because I'm going to say hello to the crew. So I said, why don't you take video with your phone of you talking to the mic and then email it to me? So I don't do that. But yeah, especially, everything just takes away from the show. That's right.
It's really funny. I actually...
Do you do sound checks?
Yeah, I kind of just flipped on it because I would try and get out of it all the time. And it is so silly for a comedian to go up and just, hello, and great, we'll see you later. And you put your shoes on, your pants back on. And do it.
Yeah.
And then I started to think, you know what? It's probably good that I talk to one person before the show.
Well, that's true, to get that sort of extroverted mindset going.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm a people pleaser, so maybe I would start to be a little funny in the mic, and then maybe I'd do a couple selfies, and suddenly it's 20 minutes and 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And I never know, because at some point I lie down. I don't know if I'm going to fall asleep.
Right.
And I don't know when that's going to hit me. Like, this would be a good time, and it might be right exactly when the sound check is.
Right.
When I could be 20 minutes of almost meditative.
Yeah.
But, it shows that we care. I don't like feeling weak and tired on stage.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
No, you're trying to do the best you can. And people just don't realize. Like, my cousin always says, oh, you don't have a real job. You go in there, you're up on stage for, an hour, and then you're in San Diego for all that time. It's like, I'm not doing anything in San Diego. I'm kind of going over my notes. I'm looking at stuff. For me, the big obstacle, and maybe you can help me, I have not been able to figure out when to eat in all these years. Because you get up, you have breakfast, then you eat lunch, like, say, you're around 1. And then you've got that long gap before you're on stage basically at 8:30.
I totally agree, and I'll tell you, a lot of times lately I'll do it in half. Like, even if I get salmon and rice, I try to eat well.
Right.
I'll do half of it at 5:30 because I don't want to be too full.
Right.
I just put a cover on. It'll be kind of cold, and then I'll finish it afterwards. But you're right. That's a
smart.
constant problem. You don't want to get too full, but you want to have energy.
Yeah. You don't want to be, like, sleepy.
Yeah.
And spitting salmon on the front row.
But maybe this will help you with your brother-in-law about the headspace of being a stand-up. Like to me, it's sort of like, why does the golfer get paid more than the caddy?
Right.
All the work is in here.
Yeah.
You and I, if we could get paid the same to rake a lawn, we know we'd love to rake the lawn because 1 and 1 is 2.
Right.
But with us, 1 and 1 could be 3 or maybe 5. So it's a weird headspace. A show day is just different.
Yeah. When you wake up and you know you have a show, it's going to be completely different.
Except maybe Jay Leno, the Pope of comedy. I don't know. Jay seems to be
different.
The one who might be built so different.
Have you ever seen him before a show? Have you ever been like a Comedy Magic when he's going to go on?
Yeah.
He is eating... He's chewing on his way to the stage.
Right, yeah.
He sits down at the Comedy Magic in the table backstage. He orders like a salmon, a steak, a potato.
And he's just,
and just plowing through it as he's talking to everybody, telling jokes. Jay, you got to go on. Okay. Flossing on his way up there.
He just says he's the same violent storm in a private jet before stage, on stage, after the show.
Right.
He's in the exact same headspace. He's basically the Dalai Lama of comedy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it.
Yeah,
Don't you
it's
think a guy like
fantastic.
that's just built differently?
I mean, there is an element of like, if you're going to do a set, if you're going to say, I'm going to be on stage every single day,
Right.
that would help. I've always
Right.
been a little bit, I would call it love-hate, but if the show was canceled, I'd feel a little relief. It's kind of like, remember school, when school was canceled?
Snow day.
It was just something, that's what comes over me a little bit.
Right.
But if I do it a lot, in the olden days, I would do a lot.
Right.
But now I do maybe 5 sets a month.
Where did you
6
start off doing stand-up?
San Francisco.
In
Bay
San
Area.
Francisco?
Yeah, in San Francisco. Holy City Zoo.
And you went there purely for stand-up?
Yeah.
And you went in, and at that time, that's when you're just feeling it out. You were doing a lot and going on the road a lot?
Well, no, it just started out slower than that. The clubs really started being built,
Right.
in 79.
Yeah.
So I was in college. So my first night, I went to a little dive in Berkeley called the La Salamandra because I'd seen in the paper that comedians were going to be there. And I'd
Right.
only seen famous comedians on television.
Right.
A few friends in it came, and we went and we watched. And I took out a napkin, started, I did a Howard Cosell impression. I
Right.
thought I think I could do this. And then this one guy came up, and he was so energetic and so freeform and so wild, I put the napkin back in my pocket. And that was Robin Williams.
Wow.
I didn't know. I thought maybe there's one in every town.
Right. Yeah.
But then they said, it's open mic at 11 o'clock, 10 people. And I just went up on a whim. And then
Really?
I kept going from there with, I think, right up there with stage fright with anybody for about 3-4 years. I still get it, but just
Yeah.
stage fright, sweating,
Like real
palpitating.
heavy.
Heavy stage fright.
Really?
Yeah, horrible bombing.
Really?
Horrible.
I never had that level of it. Like, I would get nervous, but I
Yeah.
remember, like, there's just kind of that thing where I almost thought I should have it more. Like, I would be more talented if I had it. Like, when you saw those stories of Bob Dylan not being able to go up on stage. I was
Yeah.
like, well, if Bob Dylan, if this is doing something to him,
Right.
I think he's aware of it, something else at a higher
Or Red
level.
Skeleton had buckets in the wings, or is that, I don't know, with
Yeah.
vomit. And I mean, I was playing the Ice House with my sons the other night, and I just was feeling really comfortable.
Yeah.
I just thought to myself before I went, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And I had a perfectly fine set. I mean, in other
Uh-huh.
words, all that anxiety and fear was kind of a waste. I mean,
Right.
certainly getting psyched up,
Yeah.
but just abject terror.
Right.
That's the long tease of this for me, is how I don't know, just how connected you can be to the experience. I
Right.
mean, the voice in the back of your head giving yourself a report card was very big back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh, that joke sucked. I'm
Right.
not doing well. I'm losing them. And sometimes
Yeah.
as you do it, and it can take 30 years, sometimes that voice is almost deadened. And it's like a really great feeling.
But then it comes back.
It can come back on a whim.
Without you even realizing.
Yeah.
You think you're this confident guy now, and then all of a sudden you're on stage thinking, what is wrong with me? Why are these people even doing here?
Well, how do you? Because I asked Bill Burr this the other day. So you're working on your act to shoot a special,
Right.
and if you're working on it, sometimes you're in a hot club and you're getting applause breaks, and and then you shoot the special,
Right.
and you're getting a nice audience, but with all the rigmarole, you're getting half.
Right.
And it's sort of like swing and a miss, and you're like that moment, because I'm editing it now, and
Yeah.
I go, let's not do a close up, because I see in my eyes where I go, wow, that used to always get an applause break. Now I've got cameras rolling, and it got a huh.
Yeah.
And how do you? The only thing I could think of is to do a lot of specials. It's
Right.
the only way, because
It's that. I'm actually doing one on Saturday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a perfect topic.
Perfect.
Where are you
'Cause-
shooting?
And I was trying to remind myself of it this morning because I'm going to Cleveland, the Hannah Theater in Cleveland.
How many
Playhouse
seats?
Square. It's 500 seats.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's good. 500.
Yeah, I like that. And that city, I always have good fans there. It's like
Mm-hmm.
a good feeling. It's like this vaudeville-looking house. But I literally was thinking you have to go into these remembering that you're doing a TV show.
Yeah.
This isn't a set.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go run it at the Comedy Magic Club tomorrow.
I'll be there.
And I'll run the whole hour. And now I got nervous. And then that will be really fun. It'll pop, like you said. We're in a club. And it's just
Yeah,
gonna go.
because you'll just, yeah.
And I have to remember when I go in on Saturday, this is a TV show. So it probably won't go as great at times. Maybe it will. Maybe I'll get lucky. But if it doesn't, you just have to keep in mind that keep a smile on your face and keep doing it because this is going to cut together in a show that's going to be fine. It's going to be okay.
Yeah, that Bill Burr's answer was, I just think to myself, as long as it's a fair, like there's a 10 and a 1, as long as it's a middle of the road representation of what the act is.
Right.
But don't think it's going to levitate into this other thing. And if it does, it does.
Yeah. I mean, didn't you feel, I mean, you've recorded so many things.
But not many specials, but
yeah, but just in television, just in filming and whatever. Yeah. That certain moments that you think were great weren't as great. And things you think came off awful, are better than you thought. Yeah. It seems like TV kind of levels everything out in a way.
Yeah, and I don't, obviously, people have talked to this. Can you really capture, there's something missing about televised stand-up in a theater. The only time it feels a little close if you're on Fallon, because it's a $50 million thing they invented where, you know, you're doing stand-up on a talk show. It seems like it works there. The mix, but trying to make a TV studio out of a theater and make it a theatrical. But this is something that I'm just dealing with, and maybe you'll find this interesting. Yes, it is a TV show. Right. And therein, they might leave any second. So when you and I are at the Comedy Magic Club, we can meander and take our time and do our preamble because they're not going anywhere. Right. So I've been doing some editing based on some pretty smart notes from the people at Netflix saying, remember, they have all their metrics going, well, you got to 7 minutes. Wow. So I'm trying to, but I wouldn't necessarily come out with my strongest thing. Yeah. So if I do another one, I'm going to think ahead of time that audience can get up and leave. And go. Yeah. So how do you just grab them and keep them?
And keep going. Yeah, you can't waste time.
No. Even though in the ether now, me being old school, just by the notion of my age, the TED Talk with jokes, what I call TED Talk with jokes, is fine. And that is this other style of really revealing personal things. Right. If it's kind of funny, which I think is born from social media, where it is all about knowing Tom behind the curtain, right? Like this, This could be your special,
right? You know, I know people want to know more and get deeper.
I mean, you're sort of, well, you're younger than my generation. You're a half step down in a sense. Like your peers would be Bill Burr and Louis, right? Yeah, yeah.
But I'm definitely more in the vein of a little more joke heavy.
Well, I still think the hardest thing to do is to really end-to-end make an audience laugh for an hour straight.
It's a long time. Yeah. And hours for anybody. I mean, I'm excited that your special's coming out. I won't make it through the hour.
Oh, no, I don't.
Seinfeld, Chris Rock, whoever. It's just like, it's a long
20? Do you make it to 15, 20?
20 would be the perfect stand-up special.
I agree.
If you could cut your thing into 3 20s and release them over 3 months.
I totally agree, and Netflix has a very open-ended policy toward length. Jim Jeffries just did one that was 85. But I wonder if they would let me do that. Let me just shoot 3 specials. I mean, for cost. Yeah, but
it would be great.
20 minutes is about fine because that's when you could kind of lean into it and have it be an extended laugh. Yes, before everything has to deflate for a second. Especially 40 minutes. You know that they have to kind of, Yeah. And then you have to rebuild.
That's right, because even if you build it where for 40 minutes, they are really laughing hard. Yeah. This is a great act. Yeah. Just physically, they need a break. Yeah. They need to just, let my face kind of get back into shape. Let me catch my breath. Yeah. You have to kind of reset it. And then go for the next 20, I guess.
And the other, it's sort of a thing I have to deal with, which is not a complaint at all. But, like, when I'm playing, the first thing I said to the producer of the special, I said, I'd like to play not to my audience. I did a talk for David Spade's book, and it was David, and I wasn't advertised, so it was David's audience. And then I felt better and killed harder and everything was nicer. When I play to exclusively my audience, they're a little older. It's like they've just watched my DVD from my SNL years, which I totally understand. So it's Hotel California to them. And then I'm not really doing that. And sometimes I'm not intentionally being edgy, but I'm doing stuff to amuse myself. It's a little outside what they're expecting. So I'm always dealing with that a little bit. And it's a good problem to have. Yeah. That if I start to go into the church lady or not going to do it, it's like this, the whole audience goes, oh. My wife was in the audience. She goes, They love it, though, even when you just change your voice.
Yeah.
Because I always say I don't really have a face or a voice. Like, I am an invisible person. I can still walk around. No one... I mean, I am perfect to drop a nose on or a wig. You could, like I've said before, but you could put 2 inches of prosthetic makeup on John Lovitz and go, "Hi, John."
Right.
How'd you know? So anyway, that's something that is interesting. So for you, you've done how many specials now?
This will be my 4th.
So this would probably be the sweet spot because the people coming will have kind of basically just watched your last 3.
Right.
So your evolution is they've been with you.
Right.
But so for me, I disappeared for 10 years. I tend to take 10 to 12 years off at a time. And then I come back.
Yeah.
Here's me, So anyway, that's just another thing that was kind of interesting. But the audience
that's
was
interesting.
good,
It's an interesting thing to think about, and I kind of try not to think about it because of going after the audience. Because my audience, it's a lot of families, it's a lot of couples, and just as the culture resets, you think, well, I should be talking to my nephews who are like 22.
Right.
Like, that's the next generation of people that are going to come out and buy tickets and do all this stuff. It's like, I should try and get them. But then it's like, how?
Well,
what I mean?
yeah. See, the 2 millennials are with me now. My sons.
Okay.
And so they were going, "You should totally do that, Dad." Whenever we're driving to the ice house or whatever.
Right.
And I'm going off, the reservation. Oh, yeah, totally. So they were the ones pushing me
to do other stuff.
Edgier stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Do you still use voices if they're not your iconic voices?
Totally. I use them just all the time.
You do use them all the time?
Yeah, all the time.
And was that the beginning when you said, like, Howard Cosell was in your pocket at the first open mic? Were voices always a thing?
Yes. And
was it a thing as a child, like you were doing the family?
Yeah, I did John Wayne. I did Lyndon Johnson.
Right.
I had the little tape recorder, the Craig reel to reel. I was recording Jonathan Winters.
Oh, wow.
All the basic stuff.
So good.
But was introverted, incredibly introverted. Never took theater arts. Was running during the running boom. Running the mile, the 2 mile, running in junior college. And the friends I made running is that's what made me decide to do it. But the voices were always something that I did.
Yeah. And do you feel like that's more of an actor head than a comedian head? Because you're going for laughs,
Yeah.
But there's like that thing, like, I started out acting, and sometimes I feel like disappearing into a role is almost easier than telling people exactly who I am. You know what I mean? Like, I still haven't figured out exactly who I am.
Yeah.
And if I can get into a role, it's just so relaxing and easy. You can just... your voice changes a little bit. You do that kind of thing. Is the impression thing more of an actor thing or a comedian thing?
Well, I would say it's more of an actor thing, and that I think that I was always a sketch player in my heart.
Right.
Well, up in San Francisco, there was some sketch people going around, Duck's Breath Mystery Theater and stuff, but I never, once I got into stand-up, I just did stand-up, and of course, Robin would come back and forth.
Right.
And he was doing, Shakespeare and theatrical stuff.
Right.
So I tried to be him for a few years.
Right.
And then I realized I can't be him. And I eventually started to develop my own style. The first time, because I was playing bars, show us your dick, that kind of stuff. So
crazy.
Jimmy Stewart swearing would get me through the blender going. But I was always trying to do sketch, I think. And, when I got to the other cafe, this little dive 80-seat thing in the Haight-Ashbury, I finally said, okay, I'm going to be a character, because I did characters too, like the church lady came from that. I'm going to be a character for 45 seconds, which terrified me.
Yeah.
But I started there, and by the time I got on SNL in 86, I'd never done sketch comedy formally. And so when I got on the show and started doing it, it was really weird. Like, people were talking at me, because normally I play both characters.
Right.
Or when I got a laugh, I wanted to look at the audience.
Right.
So I think I was always a sketch player. And I think that for me, once you have a wife and children and brothers and sisters, if you want to be just completely prostrate yourself with honesty, you can, you're already, it's a show.
Yeah.
I mean, you're already editing edges and things,
Right.
Do I want to bury that person? Do I want to hurt that person?
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, for me, just to complete the thought, that made me so excited in my 20s was Monty Python or Andy Kaufman, Peter Sellers. Stuff that I could hear multiple times, rhythms that We Are the Knights Who Say Neat, or there's
Right.
some spam in it. So those rhythmic things, and that's what I did
Right.
with my friends. Well, I would ask you, like, because I was born in the back of the Volkswagen Bug as a comic with my friend Stoned. I was
Right.
the last person to smoke pot.
Right.
And I would do 20 minutes of Star Trek or 10 minutes of the water polo coach. But nothing
Right.
was short form, observational bits.
Right.
It was winding down. So when you first realized you were funny,
Right.
where was that, and what were you doing? You making your mom laugh, or you?
Yeah, it was right. It was my parents. It was my parents. Actually, the first time ever that I actually like went in front of people to do it. Like I would do voices at home. I would do Rosanna.
Okay,
Dana.
Rosanna Dana.
Yeah, I would do that
yeah.
kind of stuff, and I was doing little voices. And I went up in second grade. I went in front of the class with a banana peel, and it was just like lunch was winding down. We're all sitting there. No one asked me to go up.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking. I just got my banana peel. I went up to the front of the class and I started twirling it around, singing Rhinestone Cowboy, but making it Rhinestone Banana.
Okay,
I'm
that's
a
it.
Rhinestone Banana. And just shook my hips and got
Yeah.
some laughs.
Yeah.
And the teacher sent me back.
Right,
And I
yeah.
just remember sitting there like electrified. I
Yeah.
had just done a bit, like
Yeah.
in front of people.
That was it.
Just totally unplanned.
Yeah.
And then, this through the years, it just kind of would always be like voices and that kind of thing with your friends.
Yeah, that was basically it. So, I think that in its purest form, and I've met the people who are sort of in the purest form, it is
Yeah.
sort of like an attorney, like a prosecuting attorney,
Right.
being very honest with a very strong singular point of view.
Right.
Usually in a very complaining mode or disenfranchised mode.
Right.
And, I often say that comedians who get into that style of being angry and then have
Yeah.
success, then they have to shore up the anger.
Right, exactly.
ABBA, fucking ABBA's album, fucking driving me crazy. Really? Seriously? I always say that they're,
Yeah.
some of the comedians of my generation, now they're in their 50s and they're still doing masturbation jokes. And I'm like, so I just went home and I just totally jacked off. And I think, well, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
Because first of all, you don't have the physical fitness. You don't have the hormonal balance to just do that 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And,
It's so funny.
the angry comedian and then sort of
Yeah.
the mayors of comedy. I
Right.
won't mention them. But the ones who are really upset if it's not done properly
Right.
and just hate Carrot Top.
Right, exactly.
Like spend a lot of energy thinking about. I just look at it. We're all clowns.
Yeah. I've always thought the same way. It's like so he's getting laughs with a different way with different people. Who cares?
Yeah, that are
He's
bent
doing his-
over in pain. Their brains are full of endorphins. We've got to stop this man.
Right. Yeah. So, but before SNL came up though, and you're out there and you're doing your stand up and you're kind of figuring it out, was SNL always like that's the spot? I mean, that's the sketch landing pad.
Yeah, but
Because there wasn't really like were your eyes really on that, or were you thinking maybe I'll just do this act on my own?
because my wife and I have been together since '79, and I asked her, "Did I ever talk about being rich and famous?" Never.
Interesting.
I was really thinking trying to get to be the middle act.
Right.
And then because they were just looking for bodies. I was headlining before I had any business headlining.
Right.
So I got a guitar and props and
Right.
I got all this stuff. And then I just was sort of thinking like that. SNL was so abstract. It just seemed, I had 2 tracks, which is very unusual. It's a very long story. But basically, NBC saw me in 1979 or 80 just
Right.
do a set in San Francisco and sign me to a deal.
Right.
Now, that was based on just being an innocent Disney-faced character. They didn't even
Right.
want me to be funny.
Right.
So I was cast as Mickey Rooney's grandson, and the show took place in New York.
Right.
I'd never done any acting, anything. I was terrible. And Nathan Lane was the other guy with me, my
Yeah.
roommate, and then we had Mickey Rooney. And we ended up on the 6th floor Rockefeller Center, and I'm living in New York City at
Wow.
25 or 26. I would go upstairs on Thursdays, watch Joe Piscopo and Eddie Murphy rehearse,
Jeez.
and thinking, well, this would be cool,
Yeah.
And
Man.
I would do Andy Rooney impressions for my makeup artist who also worked on Saturday Night Live, and it would tell Joe Piscopo, there's this kid on the Mickey Rooney show. But the very first day
Wow.
of rehearsal, Mickey pointed at me and said, "You're the straight man." So,
Did he really?
Yeah, after 4 years in the clubs.
Did he say it like, as a mean guy?
Oh, yeah, you're the straight man. He had a .38 revolver he'd wave around. They're not going to get me.
No.
I was the #1 star in the world. You hear me? Bang. The world. And he said it exactly like that 10,000 times.
Really?
#1 star in the world. You hear me? And he
married
was,
like 20 times, right?
Oh yeah, 8 times.
Right.
You know? He was the kind of guy who he'd be at the piano playing chords. This is Stefan Sondheim's favorite song. I wrote it. You know.
Oh my God.
And
He's out of his mind.
he thought I was gay. And
Didn't like it.
And he would put his arm around Nathan. Nathan and I had to hide this from Mickey.
Right.
So he put his arm around Nathan, this is true, and looked at me and said, "I'm just glad we like girls." And he's pointing at me with his arm around Nathan. You know? So the whole thing was crazy. And then
You must have been like, what the hell is happening?
What is, I know. And so I was doing clubs. That got canceled like everything else. And I kept getting side things. I did a pilot with Desi Arnaz Jr. I was kind of the straight man.
Right.
Where we were bombing halfway through. Lucille Ball grabbed the mic from the warm-up and started yelling at the audience. "What's wrong with you people? This is funny."
No.
Desi looked really disappointed, went in the back, got a B-12 shot that put his head nice. I don't know. I did Blue Thunder with James Ferrantino.
Right.
I was in a little helmet, and I just
You were just adorable.
my
at the
lines
time.
were like, I'm jamming, you know, check the radar. I'll check it, you know.
That's so great.
I got fired from all those shows, and then SNL came around freakily. So 6 years later, from being there at doing One of the Boys,
Right.
I went up to 8H. Took me 6 years to get.
And
up
where'd they
to-
find you to take you up?
Well, I'd auditioned 2 or 3 times before. I auditioned for SNL,
Right.
Just because in big cattle calls, like
Right.
I followed Kennison at midnight at the Comedy Store.
Oh,
Just death. Wasn't that I mean, just horrible.
that was your audition?
Yeah. 5 minutes. No MC, just one after the other. Kennison levitated the room and no introduction. And just, I went up. And just death. So I just thought, I was 31. I just thought it's over. I'm never going to be on SNL.
Yeah.
Came around again freakily. And I'd spent 2 years really, really doing a lot of stand-up.
Right.
And so I was in the best shape for stand-up ever. And
Right.
Lorne Michaels will see you. Some of his lieutenants saw me at the Comedy Magic Club.
Right.
I said, I'm not going to do it at the Improv Comedy Store. We'll do it at Igby's on the West Side, 100-seat theater. Rosie O'Donnell was headlining there. I asked her, I'd never met her, could I come in? She said yes. So I did 40 with a real audience.
Wow.
Almost the most nervous I'd ever been. And Lorne came in right as I was about to go up. Lorne Michaels, Brandon Tartikoff, the head of NBC at the time, and Cher. And I'm just nobody. So I said, this is my shot. This is my shot.
My
this is my
God.
life.
This is it.
And it was good enough, and the audience was normal. I didn't have to do 5 minutes.
Right.
I had chopped broccoli in my back pocket. I had
Nice.
Church Lady. I had a few impressions. And that's basically, there was other auditions.
Chopped
That's
broccoli, church lady.
Church Lady. And then I did Jimmy Stewart. I did Casey Kasem. I
Right.
did Robin Leach. I did, I did this little British character. I just,
So a lot that you used.
a lot that I used the first season. Yeah.
Wow. So you do your set, goes well, 40 minutes. Do
Well
they just,
enough.
Do they just leave or do they talk to you?
No, I
after?
talked to him on the sidewalk a little bit.
They did?
And then I met with him a few days later where I met John Lovitz and Phil Hartman.
Right.
And Lauren wants to see you and just went in, Dana, sometimes I won't hire someone because I don't like their shoes. I mean, a very intimidating character.
Totally.
But my time there ended up being very fair, just fantastic because
Right.
the Church Lady was the last sketch in the rehearsal show, my very first show, and got
Right.
moved up to the first sketch, and really did well. But
Yeah.
I'd honed it in clubs for 2 years, but I'd never
Right.
put the dress on.
God.
So then I was off to a good start, and it really lifted the show. And having Phil and Jan play supporting characters because they were real superstar sketch players, good as it gets.
Yeah.
And they played Tammy Faye Bacon and all that. So it's all online, kids.
Did you? It is so great, though. I mean, it was such. As a fan of the show for so long, and you had the dips and things that came back, and when you guys were hitting it, it was just like this great, great, great era. And it just felt like, did you click with those guys right away? Did you guys?
Yeah,
you just
I
had this
liked
kind of
Phil and
bond?
John right away. We were the last small cast. It was Phil and John and I were basically the main players, and then we had
Right.
Kevin Nealon and Dennis Miller.
Right.
and we just had 3 women, Nora Dunn and Jan Hooks and Victoria Jackson.
Right.
So I clicked with them right away, liked them both a lot, and it took us a while to kind of gel, but we were just gentle, and I often thought SNL people should be like big, badass pirate men.
Right.
Because Dan Aykroyd just seemed like badass, or Bill Murray might make you laugh or beat you up.
Right.
Chevy Chase is 6'5". I mean, I just thought the closest to me physically was Martin Short, who I adored as a performer.
Yeah.
But I just thought, really? And they said, if we don't hit the ground running, we're canceled.
Jeez.
So I thought, I may be that may
be the ones to take it down.
So that whole thing was like a dream.
Imagine if you had
state.
met Phil and John and just
hated them.
Yeah, just like one of those people you can't be funny around. You know what I mean? Like
they were pretty
generous.
I mean, all day long they just did the gangster thing. That's all for months before or that 30s voice. What's the word on the street? What do you say, pal? What are you doing? How you doing, Dan? People said, is that all they do? But they've been in the Groundlings together. But some of my favorite stuff later on I did with Phil, the Carson thing. I loved doing that with him, and
God, so good. He
Yeah.
seemed like such like a perfect soul. Like everybody, you could just see in that guy's eyes. You just fell in love with him. You saw that. You knew he was brilliant, but there was like this kindness to him.
Yeah,
that you just naturally. He's one of those performers. Like when he passed, everybody took it personally. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the Robin thing. It was like, it hit you at a different level than just a guy you saw on TV.
Yeah, Phil was so gifted, as an artist and a musician, and he was a Renaissance man, and he, it's almost like, what do you want him to do? He'll be the lead in the sketch. He'll be the supporting player, but he didn't really care about the fame or trying to be the top thing because he could do it so effortlessly. And, I've told this story before, but, in the middle of the night on Tuesday, we were trying to write the show, and most of the offices are like a, World War III dumpster. I mean, it's just shit everywhere, and everyone's exhausted. And I'm walking down the offices, seeing these scraggly writers burnt out. And I go down to Phil's office, and it's immaculate, and he's got an easel, and he's painting a sailboat. That's very Phil.
It's so perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so lucky. So when you go after that show and the success is beyond what
just
you
crazy,
expected,
crazy. Especially with Wayne's World was the topper. George Bush.
Oh, it was just insane. And then the films and stuff. What is happening to your act at this point? Are you even going up on stage? Are you doing appearances? Are you doing corporate gigs?
Yeah,
you are?
I do a mix of all of them. Because I'm still doing some with my kids.
I mean during that period. Like,
when I'm doing SNL?
Did you just forget stand-up for a long time and then come back to it?
Yeah, I would tour. I would do some dates during the summer. The colleges mostly and some dates. But during that was 9 months,
right.
I was just not doing it.
Yeah,
and
you couldn't.
My money kept going up and my act kept going down. Right. I go, wow, I'm really not in shape right now. I am terrible stand-up, but I'm getting paid 50 times as much.
Right.
How
great. It must have been such a great feeling when those first times after it's hit and you go on stage and the audience really wants to see you, right? From all those years of like...
and fighting. It used to take me the entire hour to get them on my side.
Right.
And then barely toward the end, just working and fighting. I don't know. I would never know how to describe it except that... even for me in my little tiny way, I had this woman just used to do some massage on me in Malibu when my wife and I lived there. And she also at a period of time did Bob Dylan. Loose comparison. But she said that Bob, who's just a dude, said he had never caught up to his fame.
Right.
And what happened to me just from where I came, this middle-class family, no one had ever been in show business, to actually being in show business, to making a living in show business, to headlining comedy clubs, to actually being on television, and then being on television, being on Saturday Night Live, and then actually having it go really, really well, and then getting really, really rich. It's just surreal.
Right.
I mean, surreal.
So crazy.
Surreal, really. I mean, I think anybody, because now I'm back with my sons and their friends, and you get back in touch with their seeing, am I going to do this?
Right.
Is this how I'm going to make a living? Now, I could have a career like Jerry Seinfeld, or this career, this guy is doing headlining clubs, makes 60 grand a year or 40 grand.
Right.
So their eyes are big about that.
So they're both, how old are they?
22 and 24.
And they both they're doing stand-up.
They're doing stand-up. They started without me.
They went out and
I did it up in
together,
San Francisco.
or just one
no,
verse
separate,
and then the other?
separate. Yeah,
and just loved it and wanted to do
love it. Love everything. Love doing digital videos. Love the acting.
Were they always funny? Were they funny kids?
Yeah. They're really. I mean, they helped me a lot. They know exactly when I've had a good show.
Right.
They know when I was connected. They know that little ad lib. They'll pick it out.
Right.
So the sensibility is just right in sync with me, and like I said, they push me to do edgier stuff. You know?
It's got to be so fun. I mean, I have 2 kids who are smaller, and they're funny in their own way. And like you see, she might be comedy funny. She might be comedian funny, but to like have these guys, it must be weird for you to watch them.
Well, this is as surreal as my sons are now young men working with me, and we're on the road together. And we go into a comedy club, and in its core, it's kind of the same, except they're with me.
Right.
And then I'm watching them do stand-up. Sometimes it's not going so well, so I have to leave the showroom.
Of course.
That's just as surreal as getting on Saturday Night Live and becoming a professional comedian.
Right.
It's all completely, I don't even know what to say.
It's such a weird path, isn't it?
But the interesting thing to me that because of social media and all the tools and technology, a lot of their friends went and got liberal arts degrees in college, but now they just want to be in show business now, because being good doesn't matter as much as it used to. That's why I have to slow them down.
Right.
You can be a surrogate boyfriend, just going, hey gang, and make $300,000-400,000 a year. So it's upended. So many parents I talk to, their kid is either with some kind of media startup or some podcast thing that might go there, or some girl is just young woman's doing stand-up at the club, but she's Instagramming it, and the whole experience. So a lot of people want to be in show business, and if you look at it that way, rather than when I came up where you were constantly asking for permission to do it, now you can do it.
Can just do it.
Where's your feature film? Where's my feature film with a camcorder edited on our laptop?
Yeah.
So I told my wife, look, I can't say that they're going to be famous or wealthy, but if they just work hard, they'll make as much as a guy who works for a UPS driver.
Right.
$90,000 a year with benefits.
Yeah.
And and they could do much, much better than that.
Yeah.
But I think it's not as exotic. When you set out, did your parents roll their eyes a little bit? Poor Tom.
Yeah, they were just like, hey, what are you doing? What?
Yeah, my dad was like, oh, my son's going to be a comedian. Jesus Christ, is the big dummy. It was just like, so I'm going to be the president, or I'm going to be an astronaut.
No, it's amazing. I watch my kids and their friends. They're all day is about accumulating content for their Instagram or their Snapchat, or they're producing, they're editing, they're doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You can have a career inside out, so to speak. You can build it in the other way.
You can be famous more quickly. You can be famous on a YouTube level, have millions of kids watching you, but not really have an act yet. Right?
That's the thing. And you'll get really famous. I mean, probably your listeners know this, and then they want to put you in the club, so they frantically try to get an act.
Yeah.
But there is no shortcut.
No.
I mean, you can take a 5-year-old, put them in a film, say your dog died, and they will get nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
You can't put any human being on a stage their first time and have them do a hot, tight hour, which is what I love about it.
Yeah,
it has not
I do too.
changed.
No.
The algorithm has not been invented to supplant us.
Nope.
And it's remarkably the same at its core.
It really.
Which is when everything else is upended.
Well, I have to say, they're telling us.
Is this it?
They're telling
well,
us
this
we
has
have
been
to
so
wrap
interesting.
up.
I could talk to you for 5 hours.
I know. I guess you got to talk to somebody else or something. Forget it.
Anyway, well, this was really, really interesting.
This was so great.
I found it interesting. I hope your listeners did.
No, of course they. Yeah, no. How could they not? I mean, you were Dana Carvey. We're talking about all the real stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just do a little of this for you listeners. It's my new toy. When you start down here, if you want to do Trump, you just go disaster. It's a total disaster. Total disaster. Okay? Total disaster.
So that, those things are I just abstract them, so
my
I
God.
keep amused.
It's so crazy. I mean, There are people.
It is.
Frank Gorshin. Were you a fan of Frank Gorshin?
Of course, my God.
Because
Kirk Douglas and Burt Lancaster were brilliant. I did a movie with them, by the way.
You did?
I did.
Because to me, and I'm opening up something they're telling us to wrap up, but we could talk for another hour about this.
We'll come back. We'll do another
Watching Frank
hour.
Gorshin, him and you, whatever grammar I'm using at that point, were able to just take those little kernels and make them into such identifiers that nobody else was doing about these people, and that's why your impressions just really lasted. And Gorshin would contort himself and do the same kind of thing.
And Jim Carrey, the physicality, I think. I put Jim Carrey, one night, I was at the he just made Bruce Dern's face.
Yeah.
And was like, seriously?
Right, exactly.
But Jim Carrey he's in Gorshman. They definitely have a symbiotic thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think part of it, I don't think I have the ear of Kevin Pollak or Frank Caliendo. Their ears are just at this, so I just abstract them. But I'm always trying to keep myself amused.
Yeah.
I'd like to do this, but he goes, okay.
So I'm just taking that, but somehow it works. Where the okay is extract. And so that makes my brain happy.
It's so great. This was so much fun.
Really fun,
You definitely
Tom.
have to come back at some point.
I'd love
we
to.
haven't even plugged what you're here to plug.
Oh, God. Secret Life of Pets.
Secret Life with Pets.
I play a dog. I do the grumpy old man as the dog.
That's so
You
great.
kids, I get out of here.
I'm a grumpy old dog who has paralyzed legs. And
It's the only movie my kids want to see this summer.
I know. I've never been in a movie that everyone knows.
Yeah.
I've never seen press like this.
Yeah, The Secret Life of Pets. It's coming out.
Friday.
It looks really funny. There's some really
It's
good
very
people in
funny.
it.
Louis C.K., Kevin Hart,
Yeah,
hysterical.
so great.
So.
Well, thank you so much. I would love to have you back sometime.
I will do it.
All
yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Everybody, thank you for listening. We'll see you next time. Enjoy your life. 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 Enjoy your life.